Without a word of farewell, without a sign of acknowledgement, and without any indication that the relationship ever existed, Jungkook quietly left the same city as Jimin, leaving Jimin, and more than that, leaving behind a question now echoing in the hearts of millions of fans. Why was there no goodbye? Is this the end of an era? His steps were light, but the impact was tremor-inducing. In the crowd of the airport, Jungkook was caught on camera accompanied by just 2 staff members. No grand escort, no interaction with the public, and most striking of all, no Jimin. As if every form of communication between the two had already been severed before the departure took place. Was this a premeditated moment, a silent act to send a message? Fans who, for more than a decade, had witnessed the closeness of these two figures, on stage, behind the scenes, in laughter and in tears, are now forced to face a silence too perfect to be mere coincidence. Was this just a misunderstanding in scheduling? Or is there a wound that has long gone unhealed? A simple but disturbing fact: Jungkook and Jimin were in the same city for nearly 2 full days. Over 24 hours, just a few kilometers apart, yet not a single photo together. No brief moment, not even the smallest interaction was recorded. This is nearly impossible for 2 people known to be close, especially in the digital age where everything leaks. But this time, what leaked was the absence itself. And while the public still tries to piece together the chronology, Jimin remains silent. No uploads, no comments, not even a single activity hinting that he was aware of Jungkook's departure. Instead, what appeared was one mysterious post a few hours after news of Jungkook's return surfaced. "It's too late now." 3 words that ignited a sea of speculation. Was it regret, anger, or a confession? An internal source, who declined to be named, stated that Jimin was seen staying at a hotel just 5 minutes away from where Jungkook was staying. Yet there was no meeting, no late-night encounter, no handshake, no private conversation. Only 2 paths silently parting. Did Jungkook deliberately choose not to say goodbye? Or was it Jimin who had already closed the door to communication? Some theories point to a crack that began appearing during their collaborative rehearsal sessions overseas, which allegedly turned into an emotional confrontation. No official confirmation, but several witnesses described the atmosphere as tense, cold, and full of pressure. Since then, their interactions gradually decreased, and the public is only now beginning to realize it. But a far more complex and more unsettling theory emerges from behind the stage of the industry, that this is all part of the company's strategy. According to a leaked internal memo, the label is pushing for the formation of strong solo identities for each member, avoiding emotional bonds that appear too strong in the public eye. Jikook, as fans call this pair, was considered too strong as an entity, too attached, too disruptive to individual commercial direction. Thus, the solution was separation, not physically, but narratively. And now the narrative is being played out. Intentional silence, a departure without a trace, and a post that evokes a sense of loss. If true, then Jungkook and Jimin are not only victims of internal pressure, but also of a system that places numbers above emotions, that measures interaction not by meaning, but by market potential. In a world where every gesture can be monetized, is it possible that this departure does not belong to them, but to the strategy? Is this sadness not genuine, but part of a scenario written with great precision? Yet, regardless of all circulating theories, one thing cannot be denied. There is pain, there is loss, and there is silence that remains unexplained. If this is merely a misunderstanding, why is there no clarification? If it's just a scheduling issue, why is there such a complete lack of interaction? And if this is part of a scenario, why does it feel so real and painful? Some fans are now shifting from sadness to questions. Has Jimin chosen a new path? His calmer posts, more organized solo activities, and involvement in individual projects indicate a more focused and personal stance. Some media analysts even describe it as a form of identity strengthening. that Jimin is rebuilding himself beyond anyone's shadow, including Jungkook's. But is this truly a rebirth or a defense mechanism? The journey of Jikook is not merely a working relationship. For many fans, their closeness is a tangible form of loyalty, mutual protection, and intimacy rarely seen in the global entertainment industry. Therefore, this goodbye without farewell is not just the loss of a figure, but the loss of hope that something pure could survive amid the storm of popularity. And now, when all the facts seem grim, one question hangs like a shadow in the sky of this industry. Have we just witnessed the end of Jikook? Not out of hatred, but out of the need to survive in a system that knows no compassion. Until now, neither Jungkook nor Jimin has issued a statement. But perhaps that's where the answer lies. In the silence, we are forced to look deeper. That not all farewells are accompanied by tears, and not all endings are conveyed in words. Jungkook has left. Jimin has said nothing, and we all, fans, observers, even those who once believed in permanence, are left with one bitter truth. Perhaps not all stories have a worthy ending, but before we sink into collective sadness or get swept away by a wave of shaking emotions, there's a big question we must ask together. Is all of this really real? Or are we just spectators on a bigger stage? A scenario deliberately written to keep us captivated, moved, and unknowingly involved. We must dare to ask, are we witnessing a genuine farewell between two old friends? Or is this merely the result of a narrative carefully polished by algorithms and media industries? Does a short post like, "It's too late now," truly indicate a deep emotional wound? Or just a coincidental posting time exploited by media to build a dramatic narrative? Let's be honest. Most of the information we now consume comes from TikTok video clips, emotional YouTube montages, speculative Twitter threads, and unsourced quotes from fanbase accounts. Isn't it highly likely that we're just reading shadows, not facts? We saw Jungkook at the airport, but did he truly avoid Jimin on purpose? We saw Jimin remain silent, but is that silence a form of rejection or part of a larger promotional strategy? We see signs, but are we seeing the truth? If this event is real, shouldn't there be some clarification? Even just a short statement to stop speculation? Why is not a single one of them, or any official representative, spoken? Is it because they choose to remain silent, or because they must remain silent? This leads to another, more troubling speculation. Is that silence part of the instruction? In the entertainment world now dominated by data analytics, branding strategies, and algorithm-based reputation management, nothing is truly random. Every post is monitored. Every interaction is supervised. Every silence could be a very loud message. Are we, as the public, being emotionally manipulated? Let us reflect again. Who benefits the most from this separation narrative? Who gains surges in views, retweets, plays, and attention? And who ends up trapped in a drama that, perhaps, isn't even ours? We must begin to distinguish what is fact and what is fiction packaged in factual appearance. In a fast-moving digital ecosystem, our emotions become the primary fuel for virality. And when those emotions are driven by grief, loss, and longing framed by the Jikook separation narrative, that content will keep multiplying, even without clarity, confirmation, or strong evidence. But do we want to be part of that? Do we want to be passive spectators who accept narratives without questioning? Or is it time we change roles, from consumers to active observers who ask, challenge, and question everything that appears viral? Magnifying glass tilted left, what do we know for sure? That Jungkook and Jimin were in the same city, that there was no public interaction, that Jungkook left quietly, that Jimin posted an ambiguous sentence. But is that enough to conclude that their relationship has truly fractured? And more importantly, do we believe it because it's real, or because we want the drama? Here lies the importance of being skeptical. Not everything that looks sad is truly sad. Not all silence means conflict. Not every touching narrative reflects reality.